Oh, what fun it is to sing that. Yeah. We do need a little more love. Yeah. So a young man was driving down the road and the light turned yellow, and rather than race through the light, he stopped. He wasn't in a big hurry. But the woman behind him was in a hurry, but she stopped. But she honked her horn, threw up her hands, gesturing to him in certain ways, cussing, carrying on, throwing her hands up in the air, when suddenly there was a knock on her window, and she turned to see a police officer. And she rolled down her window, and he asked her to step out of the car, and he literally arrested her and took her to the police station. And after a couple of hours, he went and retrieved her and took her to gather her belongings. And he said, "I'm really sorry for the confusion and the mix-up, but you were cussing and gesturing and, carrying on. And when I saw the 'What Would Jesus Do' bumper sticker, and I saw the cross on your license plate and the fish symbol of Christianity, I just assumed that the car was stolen." Well, that's what happens, huh? So it happens sometimes when we have all of those idols, but we don't live the words. So today we're going to break another commandment. We're going to break the second commandment that takes us further down the road of understanding our idea of God and how we relate to that divine essence and energy, and hopefully to create a broader, bigger, maybe even a new image of our God as we explore this second commandment, which says, shall not make for yourself a graven image, any form of the likeness on heaven above or on earth beneath or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God. So we recall that when Moses received the 10 Commandments high on the mountain, when he came down from the mountain, what did he see? Yes, a golden calf. The people were worshiping a golden calf. Now, we would never do such a thing, would we? No, we wouldn't. But they had built a graven image. And in our modern day, we wouldn't worry about that. We know better, right? We're so much more advanced than the people of the Bible, huh? And we have just celebrated Easter. So what's the image that comes when you see Easter, when you think of Easter? What do you think of? Easter rabbit. Yeah. Yes. Does anyone think of a cross? Yes, we think of a cross. And more than that, we think of Jesus on that cross, right? And then we think of his body in the tomb. So we have lots of images that come, and some of them have become golden calves. Have you seen crucifixes? That's keeping that Jesus body on that cross. So we do today still have golden images. We might not think so. And with that poignancy of Easter and all of the things that come with it. And it's important for us to live in a sense of self-awareness so that we can see where our loyalty to faith is. The things that cause us to remember our faith, and the things that we worship, and the things that we place our power in. The things that we say give us power. And so is there anything that comes we look at anything that comes between living the fullness of who we really are as spiritual beings gifted this human experience, even if for a short while. We are first and foremost, as we believe in unity, spiritual beings. And we have an opportunity to live in this world. So how have we created images in our own lives? At first glance, we might just check that off and say, well, we don't do that. That's not what we do. So we can just breeze on through this second commandment, or so we think. But let's look a little deeper. For practical purposes today, we're going to not look at the icons, the image, the pictures of Jesus or Mother Mary and those kinds of things, the things that tend to be dogma of our churches. And we in Unity have them too. We think others, but no, we have our own dogma. We just recited some of it. It's not a bad thing. It's what we do with that dogma that makes it, yes. So hopefully we put it into the right direction. So we're going to go back to that I am. Remember last week that I am, the oneness. And we live that I am. And we live that true divine nature. And we recognize when we're having good moments and good days, we recognize our oneness with our God. And not just are we one with God, but we are that God breathed into life. We are God expressing. Look around and we see the many ways that God expresses. As people of different sizes, shapes, genders, colors, every shade of beautiful, we see that God expressing in the multitude of trees that grow. Just drive around Augusta and the beautiful shades of azaleas that are blooming. That's God expressing in the beauty of nature. And we are one with that. We are expressing as well. I lost track there. I got it. And when we live that I am, that true nature, we recognize that in each other too. We recognize that every person, however they're showing up on any particular moment, on any particular day, is still one with that God. And when our awareness, our thinking slips away from that divine truth into our very human thinking mind, we also notice that separation from each other. We begin to identify people as them. Those people, you hear those words? Those people? Yeah, we hear that sometimes. And that's our separation. We forget. So we have to be reminded. And we see ourselves separate from our source as well. And it becomes very lonely when we're separate from our source. We isolate ourselves from others, and we other people, yes. So in the mindset of separation and the individuality of our human mind, it creates ideas. That those ideas of because these people, because of this experience, we do a lot of storytelling. Are you aware of your stories a little bit? Yes? You notice your stories? Those things that you tell over and over and over to your friends. And you might get tired of hearing them yourself one day. Yes. But, and we place our power in people. We give our power away to people, to things, and to beliefs. Beliefs that guide our lives. We give our power away to them. And we literally become slaves to other people, things, and ideas. Has anybody worked extra to be able to take a vacation? Yeah. We become slaves to a thing, an end result. So these graven images are not carved statues. They're not that golden calf that Moses found people worshiping. They're not the spiritual icons, the crosses or the prayers or the malas that I wear every day. That's not necessarily that golden graven image, but it's the ideas that we carry. It's what we carry most enthusiastically in our mind. And by breaking this 10 commandment, we're going to move back to the idea of God as the presence and the power that we experience. That God is the presence and the power that is us when we remember who we really are. And in that oneness, we can feel those times in our lives when we're really, truly connected, awake and aware and alert of our inner self, our true self. We know those moments, right? You can feel it? Yes, when you're in that flow. And Eric Butterworth says, God is the root of our being. Now think of the roots. I just did some enthusiastic gardening. And think of the roots. We have those little shallow roots and how the weeds just wisp right out of the garden from those little shallow roots. And then I have in my backyard the oaks and the maples. Oh, you can't budge their roots. That's God. God is our roots, anchoring us in that truth always. God is the life of our life. Often we meditate on that breath. That's the life of God breathing us into existence. That's God self moving through us and pouring out of us. God is the love of our love. You know, we know that Scripture says God is love. And when we are in that space of allowing, when we are in that space of remembering, we too are love. We're allowing that God self to pour from us as the power of love. What a beautiful thing. And God is the mind of our mind. And we know that too when we're in that flow of life and feeling that presence, we have different thoughts than when we're disconnecting our consciousness from God and we're in that real human stuff. The world looks different when I'm in awareness of God and my relationship with God and my relationship with people and nature. So this consciousness of God can not be achieved so long as there's any intermediary between us and God. If there's anything coming between us, no one can negotiate my relationship with God for me. No one can do that. That's the intimate nature of our God. We do that for ourselves. So it's important that we don't confuse those comforting items, the things that we use to remind us of the divine presence. The cross you wear, or the one that hangs from your rear view mirror, or your places at home, those gentle reminders of who and what we are good to place around us. But it's where we put our energy. You know, that picture of Jesus is great and wonderful. The crystals on our altar are wonderful reminders. The Buddha statues and the many icons of many faiths, they're great reminders. But I remember that they are merely that, reminders to guide myself back inward to that conscious connection with the divine, that conscious awareness. The objects that we feel and touch are just that, objects. But that what's important is that we check ourselves and what those images and what those items represent to us. in our relationships, and the home we live in, the vacations we take, the dollars and coins in our pockets? Are those the things that tell us we're abundant? Or is it that deep inner knowing that we are part of the infinite flow of the universe, that there can be no lack when we are consciously aware of that infinite flow? Think of it as when I sit in my backyard and I allow my mind to expand as far as it can go, I don't come close to touching the edges of the infinite. I can't, that which is beyond what I can ever imagine. Is that how I define my abundance? Yeah, that's a good way to define our abundance. Infinite and unlimited. The coins in my pocket come and go. I blow through them like nothing. All of those items of prosperity, the numbers of pairs of shoes that are in my closet, do not reflect my abundance in any way. Yes. So make not a graven image. Now it's the beliefs that we hold most dear that have become masters of our life. They often are those graven images. We become slaves to them in our thoughts. They might not be carved in stone. We might not have icons. We don't really need the icons because the thoughts keep coming back, don't they? Those limiting thoughts, the ones that rule our humanness, the lesser thoughts. And how often have we been stuck in a belief and we continue to it? Look at any part of your life, any part where you feel stuck, any part of life where you feel the world has let you down, any part of life where you feel that anyone has betrayed you, disappointed you, any place in life where we feel emptiness. Step a little deeper into those places and those times where we might find us saying, well, some people have all the luck. Because I was sick as a child, I will never be able to. And for a person my age, I will never be able to live my dream. Or other people get all the breaks. Oh my bank account is empty again. If I only had one break in life. Have you ever used any of those? You probably have your own list of things that have been cemented in your mind. Maybe even without complete awareness. The teachings that are familial teachings, generational teachings, institutional teachings from society. What have you believed? And these are the things, the thoughts that drive and form our beliefs. They are the images that are carved into our subconscious mind, etched there deeply. And we know that it is our subconscious mind that guides and directs most of our activity. They are powerful in how we live each and every day. So remember that golden key that we talked about weeks and weeks ago? When you have a trouble, stop thinking about the trouble and think about God. Well, let's do that. When we have a positive, think about that positive experience in relationship to God. Take that thankfulness to God. Take the appreciation for the experience to God. Take the power of that experience to God. And if we make golden images, graven images of them, we might carry them on bumper stickers like the little story at the beginning. We might put kind words, be kind. Choose kindness is a big one now. I saw it on the way into Augusta this morning. All of the paraphernalia that we put out to tell the world who we are, those images that we believe in, they're nothing unless our actions follow them. They're nothing but a picture. They're nothing but words on the window of my car unless I live the kindness that I'm telling people to choose, unless I live the compassion, and unless I live what that cross means to me every day and everyday life. Those words become meaningless. So when you get to a yellow light and the person in front of you stops, yes, remember the bumper sticker on the back of your car and practice that. You shall not make a graven image. And you know, the commandment goes on to say, because the Lord your God is a jealous God. And you will read it as that in just about every translation of the Bible, except one. The Lamsa Bible, which is written from the Aramaic. The Lord your God is a jealous God is probably what most of us were raised with. But in the Lamsa Bible, it says, for I am a zealous God. I am a zealous God. That's the Aramaic translation. So you change one letter, one little bitty letter, from jealous, forced, possessive, suspicious. Some of those things that we cause us to fear God, maybe judgmental, yes. And we change it to zealous, and it becomes passionate and devoted. It becomes something very, very different. Now, I can get behind a zealous God. How about you? Yes. I can get behind an energy that's passionate and devoted. And this is how the law of the Spirit works, the law of mind action. It plays out as it must, because all the spiritual laws are in motion, whether we're aware of it or not. And those thoughts that I hold in my mind are the truth of the divine. I place my thoughts in that pure presence of being, by whatever name we call it, by however we describe it. Anthony DeMello says, whatever that is. I think that's probably the most accurate. Whatever that is, that energy that guides your days and fills your life, that which is greater than us as individuals and even greater than us as a collective, whatever that is, whatever you call that. The law of attraction draws the same back to me. Wherever my energy lies, that law of attraction always brings it back to me. The spiritual laws indeed at work through all the generations. So the first commandment is have no other gods before me. And the second is make not a graven image. And as we close today, we do with the words that we use every Sunday from 1 Corinthians 16:14. Let all you do be done with love. Namaste.